All right, good morning everybody. Welcome to Naughty Donkey. So today we're gonna step up our game with the Boost Auto Parts Luma Step M1s. So let's take a peek and see what they sent us. All right, what it looks like we have here is the installation hardware. And so we've got step covers and the steps themselves. And let's see what else we got. Some plastic inserts, likely to cover the holes when we're done installing the step covers. Nuts and bolts. And that's it for box one. Remember my famous slogan with the knife, guys. Don't get bloody and cut towards your buddy. Got some stickers. A couple of wiring harnesses. Obviously one's going to be right and left. Here's our plug and play adapters. This will be a super time saver, guys. And if you've ever messed with these trucks, you know that every time you cut a wire, it practically sets off the ejection seat. So I was all about, I wouldn't even do these if I didn't have plug and play, to be honest with you. So, because I've had way too many issues with splicing and that type of thing with factory wiring harnesses. So this is a blessing. Go for this. Now let's take a peek at these babies. I feel like it's Christmas. So they have a few different patterns you can choose from for your step pads. I went with the pretty basic one because, you know, I'm an older guy and I don't want to be too gaudy. So, but red's our primary color with our Z71 labels and stuff. So I thought we'd just keep it all red. And guys, these are really nice. You can just tell the quality already. It's super heavy duty. I think they're going to look great. The first thing we got to do is take our factory steps off. I do have an install video on these. It was, I think, the first or second one we ever did. So we're just going to reverse that procedure. And I drove it up on some 4-inch blocks I had just to give it a little easier access for the shooting the video. I did put these on just on the ground. It was easy enough, but for the sake of my videographer, I wanted her to be a little more comfortable. So just throw it up on some blocks if you have them, ramps. If you do jack it up at all, please use safety stands. The other thing you're going to want to do is have some sort of eye protection when you get under there. Debris always, you know, just, you can see I got mud and stuff, so something's going to probably fall in my eyes. So wear your safety gear. And anyway, so we'll knock these out real quick, then we'll start an install. Okay, here we are underneath, nice and cozy. So these are the factory holes, so where I had my original running boards. So they line up perfectly. And we'll just get this finger started. I'm gonna get them all in, finger tight, but not tighten them up all the way just yet. So the top and then the bottom one. Okay, so remember guys, even if you're using like an electric ratchet or something, suck them up, but don't tighten them up all the way. You're still going to want to be able to move things around to adjust it if you need to. So we'll go ahead and do the rest of these real quick on this side. Then we'll jump over and do the same thing on the other side. Okay guys, so just for reference, this is the furthest back one on the truck. Then come forward. This is the next one. Now, if you haven't had running boards on before at all, you're going to have little plugs like these. And I'll show you the removal tool for that. So it's just an interior type removal tool. And for these, obviously, like I say, this is not the one to take out. But if you're doing them, you just slide up under with this, pop it right out of there. Okay? And I always save them in case I want to change things back to stock, or if I decide not to run any running boards or whatever. So anyway, next one's right there. Then just past your body mount on the crew cab is your next set, and all the way forward for the front ones. So we'll go ahead and put the rest of these on. So remember, just tighten these up enough that you can still wiggle things around if you need to, but firm enough so that when we put the bracket or the running board itself on, we can adjust everything right where we want it. So for the bracket install, what you're going to want to do is just slip them on just like so. And you can see one side fits flush up against the metal plate. Okay, so they sent along this little blurb about these. So my guess is that they ran into an issue with trying to put the screw in and have it expand this properly. I've seen a couple other YouTube videos where guys did screw them in. Whether they were really successful or not, I don't know. But from the experience I just had, follow these directions. Separate the two pieces as they asked you to do. And then, so slip it in the hole like that. Then, take your formerly screw-in part, set it in place. Do that with both of these. Just push them in pretty darn firmly. Then with your rubber mallet, so you don't deform the dickens out of all this, just drive them in just like that, guys. So you got to be a little firm with them. And they come out real nice. So we're going to go put on the other two, and we'll do them according to the instructions so we don't end up with a boogered up one right here. Then we'll go do the same thing on the other side. So the next step is pick the running board that's appropriate for the side. So you can see the electrical connections go towards the front of the truck, and obviously the writing looks like this. So this is the passenger side. Put your connections towards the front. Okay, then we flip it over, and here we have these bolts with the little T-head on them. So for the crew cab like this, we're going to have a total of 8. There should be 4 in each rack. So we'll slide them in down here. There's a little slotted area. So put them in. 4 on that row. And 4 on the other. And what I'm going to do is put them pretty close over there in a minute to the brackets. Then we'll get them kind of pre-aligned. Okay, so here we'll just slide 2 down here. 1 for each bracket. And on the inside set as well. I mean, I know these are kind of rough, but they'll be close enough to save us some time later. Okay, so now we're just going to flip it up and turn it over. I'm just going to start at the front here. So then just slide them right on through. And the other ones may be hanging you up a little bit, so you may have to go readjust those, just so we can get it setting up on there properly. Yeah, just like that. So as you can see from underneath here, I got all the T-studs sticking through the brackets. Okay, so now we're going to mount the board permanently. So you're going to need 8 of the 10mm nuts from your hardware packet, and 8 flat washers and 8 lock washers. So obviously there'll be 1 for each of the studs. Okay, so take one of your washers, flat washers, one of your lock washers, and one of your nuts. I'm going to put those all on there. It's a test of dexterity to do this with big fat fingers.
And cold hands.
Yes, and cold hands. Okay, so 10mm as always. So we're going to go ahead and put the rest of them all on just like that. and then I'm going to scoot the step in exactly where I want it. We'll adjust it forth and back, and I'll show you that part, and then we'll tighten her all down. Okay, for myself, I wanted to line it up with this existing body line. So almost perfect there. I think it looks nice because it goes with the flow of the factory, and then at the back end lines up real well there. So now we're just going to jump underneath and tighten up the 10 millimeters, and then this side, as far as that part of the install will be done, we'll jump over, finish up the other side, then we'll run some wiring. So I didn't see an actual torque spec for these guys, and they're only a little 10 millimeter. So I'm going to get them good and snug, but I'm holding the ratchet here so I don't go full horsepower out here. I don't think we're going to need that. And with a lock washer on there, we should be in good shape. So I'd say get them nice and tight, but don't crank on them. Okay guys, so now that we've got all of these tightened up and everything's good to go, we got the step exactly where we want it. Now we're going to jump back and tighten up our main brackets all the rest of the way down. So these we will put a little power to. Good morning everybody. So this isn't a long process, but I did have to stop the other day after getting the running boards installed before I could do the wiring. Just life gets in the way, you know how it is. So anyway, what we got today is we're going to do the wiring. It should be pretty easy and quick. So here we have two of the plug-and-play adapters. They're both identical. This part will go directly to the back of the headlight after we unplug the factory plug. Then the factory plug will go right onto here. So that'll be done. Then this is our plug-and-play adapter for the running boards. They'll plug right in there, and this will be for rock lights, which I don't have installed yet. I do have some. That'll be a separate video, so we won't be using this today. So back of your headlight, original headlight wiring harness, straight to the Luma steps. Both of these are identical. So then we have two wiring harnesses. We have the one for the passenger side, which the big difference is here's your positive and your negative, just to get electricity to them. Okay, so we'll do that one. Then the driver's side just has this white connector, which runs across to this connector to tie the two of them together. Other than that, should be pretty quick and easy. I looked at the videos and the instructions, and you're gonna need something like this or a coat hanger to run all your wiring down through, so you can access it. And so I'm going to go ahead and hook that on here. This may be too large in diameter. I don't think it is. It's an old door unlocking tool. If you don't have something like this, then a metal hanger that's all straightened out might work out pretty well for you. So what we're going to do is tape these onto the straight rod so we can fish them on through there. And that way it should prevent this from snagging on anything or messing it up. Obviously you guys can figure this out, but we're just going to try to make them smooth, no snags. Not too impossible to unwrap the tape later, hopefully. So I'm going for not having my finger in the video. And if you look down here, so to the left of the engine and to the left of the frame, you can see that big, thick factory wiring harness down there. So that's what we're going to attach to. We're going to feed this inside, so to the right of the fender liner, and attach down there to the factory harness. And it should keep it all away from any heat source or anything that should mess it up. So I was going to try to go over here and feed it through there, but it seemed pretty impossible. So I think this will work out just fine. We'll double check everything from underneath. Okay guys, as you can see, it came through nice and clear through there. So, and again, I can attach to this factory harness right up in here, and then I'm going to run it back with this same factory harness and come out right here, so I can use this to hide the wiring. So use this main as your guide. We're just going to travel right along that, so it should be actually cleaner, I think. Okay guys, another thing I've found with any external electrical connections, whether it's your trailer plug-in or something like this, is use this dielectric grease. When you buy it this way as silicone paste, you can buy this so cheap, guys. It's compared to those little tubes that you get for $6 or $8. Anyway, I just apply with a Q-tip like this, put a generous amount on there, and what we're going to do is I'm just going to stick this inside the Luma step connection area. Then when I put my plug-in in there, it'll be well protected against any water penetration or anything else, and it should last years and years. Okay, so just take your Q-tip, stick them in there, and smear that stuff around real good, and then we'll plug them in. Obviously the smaller one on this side. Make sure they're plugged in firmly. There we go. Then what I'm going to do here, guys, is just continue the wiring. Like we said before, I'll attach it to this factory wire loom. Then you shouldn't really see any wiring at all. It should be well hidden. I'll probably put it through the step here, just like so. And anyway, it should be a nice clean install. That's what we're hoping for, and that's what we're going to get. So run it back along your board through the step bracket, straight up to the factory loom. So that's the wiring connector we're going to have to unplug. And so I'll try to show you how to do it up here on the adapter. Okay, so this is the plug and play adapter, of course. Again, where we unplug the headlight, we're going to plug this in, and we're going to plug the headlight factory plug-in back on here. And then this is where we'll attach our Luma step plug-in, like so. Okay, so anyway, I'm going to try to get under there. You can't get the camera in there, nobody can see in there, it's impossible to reach in there. These connectors are quite a bear. I'm not sure how these other guys are getting them easier, I'm not sure of that, but so when you pull this red one back, when it's on the rig, it'll click. Then you got to push the black one down. See how I look inside of there? You can see when I push down right here, it opens that up, okay? Then pull straight back. On the driver's side, it's pretty tough to get your hand in there. I mean, really tough. So there's a certain method of holding your tongue just right and clicking your heels at the same time to get that one off. But it will come off eventually. So here we're on the driver's side just because the harness is longer so I can show you easier. So here's our right off the back of the headlight connector, and here's our plug and play adapter. So we're going to slide this into there till we get it click, and then push your red connector all the way forward, and you can double click. Okay, so now we're good to go. Okay, so what I ended up doing is routing it underneath this reservoir tank line, and as you can see right through here, right underneath the edge of my rotofab, then down alongside here and up through here, right through here. Okay, so it's up to here now. Now I'm just going to connect it together, and again, this will be for our rock lights, which they did send me the complete harness for that. So with the switch, so we'll be doing that again next. So we get to take these connectors off one more time, guys. Okay, so plug these together until you get a good solid click. Looks like this gasket's giving me a little bit of an issue. There we go. You can see the little pegs right through there. So when they come through there, you know you're good to go. So it looks like that gasket is going to be an issue for me, guys. So I'm going to take it back apart. This is where that dielectric grease I was telling you about comes in handy, because you can see this is not going to be perfectly sealed in there. So we'll take care of that. Okay, so I took some more of that dielectric grease and smeared it on the connection here, and it should actually help lubricate that gasket so it makes it a little more slippery. So this should go together better now. Yeah, perfect, guys. Again, I'll have a link to that. Link to this below. This will cost you hardly anything compared to those tubes. All right, there we go. Everything's perfect connected there. So now we'll just plug this baby back onto the back of the headlight, get the click. Once we got a solid click, we'll push the red in, and that'll lock everything in place. You can't video down in there, so you'll just have to go by feel, guys. Okay, driver's side, same thing. You can see I smeared the dielectric grease on it. Just slide her together until you get that snap. All right, so you can see that gasket slid again, even with the dielectric grease. So I'm gonna take it apart and fix that. So that's something you guys are gonna wanna watch for, okay? These seem to be a little bit tough to open again. So slide it right in there. You can push down on those two and twist it a little. It comes out. So double check the gasket, guys. Get it slippery. Again, it's gonna wanna hang up, so I'll put some more on there. That might be something for Boost to look at. Yeah, it's continually doing that. So I'll try to go from this angle it in. There we go, that looks better. So definitely check that, guys, or you'll have wiring issues later on. Okay, so now same thing as the other side. Since you can't reach down in there and video it, we're going to slide this into our pre-existing connector and this back onto the back of the headlight. So one thing I found, this harness on the driver's side is really short.
You're on the passenger side.
Passenger side, super short. So if you look down in there, you can see where, I'll try to zoom in for you. You can see right there, you see the harness actually attached to the frame a little bit. So if you take that connector loose, you'll have a lot more accessibility. So I'm going to pop that loose real quick and be able to pull that harness up out of there. Okay, so I got the headlights all put back together, all the connectors done. I pushed that little button to get that wiring loom back attached to where it was, so there's nothing excessive in there. So we just have this to put together, ta-da type of thing, and then it has a lot of extra wiring, so I'm going to tuck that back behind. So you know, just again, put a little of this on the connector, slide it together, we'll be good to go. I know I'm all about this stuff, guys, but you saw how it helped with the gasket and stuff. And here's experience with things that need corrosion resistance. Okay, there we go. It's all nice and solid. So now what we're going to do, I think, is I have some 3M that we can use to run it underneath here and attach it. Okay, so these were the 3M connectors I was telling you about. They got foam on the back with the 3M sticky stuff. This is how they look when they're together. And so I'm just gonna, they were in the shop, so I'm gonna put them in the house and get them warmed up a little bit first. But then you just stick them underneath here or wherever you wanted to put your wire. Then I'll slip that in there, loop it through like that. Then you just pull this and it'll tighten it right down. So that seems to be what I think will work the best for putting this in place. Okay guys, so we got all that done. Now we're just ready to connect the power. So we're gonna have our ground and our positive. So for the ground, I think I'm just gonna go right here, this frame bracket. I'm gonna take that loose and go underneath that. So that's just a 13 millimeter. I'm using 1/4 inch drive, which I don't need to. Probably should use a little bigger. But anyway, we're gonna use our ground there, and then for the power, we're just gonna jump over here and grab power from this. So our red one's gonna go there, and our black one's gonna go right here. Okay, slip this baby on there. Thread it right back in. Tighten her down. So I'm gonna angle this back here, guys, so I can tie it all in with everything else when I do my wiring loom. I knew I was gonna do a bunch of stuff all together, so that's why I waited to the end to put the loom on it. So we'll show you that when it's finalized also. Okay guys, this is the power we said we were gonna hook up, is right here. So all I did was loosen this up, this nut, slipped my positive right on the post, and we're just gonna tighten her down. And it's already got a fuse built into it. So, otherwise, obviously, I wouldn't power it directly. And just snug her up. Doesn't need to be too tight. And we're good to go. Okay, so we got our wire management all taken care of. It's all coiled up and looking nice. So we're basically we're really done under the hood, guys, and with the install. Anyway, we'll do our reveal tonight so you can see how pretty the lights are and how everything works. And thank you very much to Boost Auto Parts for making this happen.